Going live. Oh, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hawkeye Rides, another live stream. I'm Anthony.
I'm Musa.
And we're going to start with the news while we wait for everybody to come on in for the live stream today. Starting with BMW, they are going to have an integrated heads-up display that covers the whole lower windshield, as well as a normal heads-up display, gauge cluster, and infotainment screen. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. I think it's going to be a lot of screenage. That is something similar to Hyundai and Kia. They're also developing some things like that. It should be coming down the grapevine in the next year or so. We went to Audi. Unfortunately, we were rained out, so we are trying to reschedule for this week. And there is no word on the RS3. They haven't released one for 2025, possibly 2026. I've talked to the Audi teams. I have several of them, and I also talked with Audi North America, and nothing has been confirmed with that yet. Also, Audi has been kind of complaining because they don't have any like exclusive vehicles this year. They have some special editions, but there's nothing really between like performance. It's really just for coloring. And for some odd reason, Audi is just complaining because they said that the way Audi North America is working is they're trying to basically push inexpensive vehicles, which I kind of like that, but I can see where Audi is getting a little irritated. Nissan news this week, through the grapevine, we have been hearing that they may be kind of making the dealerships a little bit less because they have a lot in the US or North America. So one concept that was brought up was maybe they should integrate like GMC does with their Buicks, so that way it's a little bit more streamlined and you don't see Nissan dealers everywhere. Here in Florida, we don't actually have that many Nissan dealers, though. I think we have maybe 3 or 4 within 30 to 40 miles, and they're kind of separate. I mean, let us know how many you guys have in the comments if that's a topic that you like to talk about. Other auto news with EVs and the EPA, because we have a new administration, Trump is in office. They are trying to either change some things with the MPGs or just where they can, I guess, bring back some vehicles that they drink a little bit more gas. And Jeffrey, hey, Jeffrey, how are you? And young man, what do you guys think of the Crown Signia? I can get one for $42. What trim for the Crown Signia are you talking about? Is it the XLE or the Limited? I think it's Limited. I think they're great vehicles while I'm waiting to hear back from Jeffrey. The only thing with the pricing with it, if you're okay, it's the base. Okay, so when you go base, the only difference really is you're losing some features. So you're not going to get the 360-degree reverse camera. It's the same power option. You're not going to get a lot of the amenities in the interior. I would try to work a deal for the non-base first and then work backwards. If you already have that at 42, maybe go to another Toyota dealer that's kind of nearby because they usually have a ton of them. They're kind of like toy stores. They're everywhere. And see what they will give you. You can tell them that you're working with another dealership, and instead of them knowing that you're going for the XLE, tell them that you're going for the limited trim. So that way you can already start with a bargain deal. I don't think they would go down to 42 for that trim, but for the base trim, it's a pretty reasonable price. It's still kind of a harder vehicle to get in some areas. So it's not bad. I like to drive to it. It's a smooth riding vehicle. The interior is nice. You have some nice amenities. I just feel like they could have given a little bit more for that pricing, because when you go into like the Crown itself, those are $50,000, $60,000. And I mean, ultimately, you get a lot more value in the sense of performance, but the MPGs is good. You have a lot of cargo capacity. You could still somewhat tow with the vehicle too. So it's a great family vehicle and everyone can fit inside. Any news with car searches, Issa?
I mean, I don't know. You know any car searches lately?
I don't know. What are you looking to get? You've been all over the place.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Because you've been talking about a Mercedes AMG lately. Mm-hmm. You've been thinking about something like that, a big V8 twin turbo, which is actually not going to be a problem now because, you know, we'll have plenty of gas with the administration.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have...
Thanks, Anthony. Good advice. Anytime, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully for the EPA, we'll have some kind of confirmation in the next couple of weeks. I know Trump was talking with the governor in California. We watched some of that event. That was quite interesting. Not to be Republican, Democrat, just the EPA is kind of a big deal because a lot of the vehicles are kind of either going EV, plug-in, or hybrid, and they're dropping the V8s. I know Ram is considering, or the CEO said that he was going to come back out with the Hemi, but I'm guessing it's not going to be for 2025 because nothing's on the website. That's going to probably be 26 or maybe even late to early 27. And even with these administration changes, I don't foresee anything happening with the auto industry in the next like few months to years because they've already kind of pumped out their plan in EVs or whatnot. But I do see a lot of the automotive industry kind of making a little bit of a twist. But then the same aspect, when I go to like dealerships like Toyota, all of a sudden I'm seeing the BZ like everywhere. And I'm just kind of shocked because usually I don't even see one electric vehicle on a Toyota lot.
Just like the ID Buzz.
Yeah. Well, the ID Buzz, we have the review up, and I left all of the edits on the actual review so that way people can see some of the glitch. I wasn't doing it to demote the vehicle. It's just because it's so new, I feel like it needs a little bit of work in the technology department. Awesome vehicle, but I don't know how everything's going to spin out now because obviously with the new administration, it's not something that is looked at. EVs are kind of on the back burner, and it's going to be going more for the gas variants for North America at least.
So the news BMW.
Oh, well, we already talked about BMW.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
M5 wagon may be coming down here.
We are waiting for the M5 wagon. It was in North Carolina. We did not have any yet in Florida.
Man, it's awful.
I know.
It's so tragic.
I know. I kind of wish it was over here. We
No,
would
I
have had it
don't.
on the
I
channel.
don't.
You don't like the M5 wagon?
No, it looks like a box.
Well, it is a wagon.
It looks like
Some people like wagons. Some people don't.
I mean, it doesn't look bad, you know. It's like it loses to RS6, you know. So
I mean, the M5 is a unique vehicle for this year because
is
it's
not
only
unique.
it's only a plug-in hybrid. So even when I
It's
talk
not unique.
to my BMW team,
Mm.
I tell them specifically if they would make a gas variant and a PHEV, I think it would be a home run because then you could give that 700 whatever horsepower, right? And then on the non PHEV, you give less horsepower because that engine doesn't produce the same horsepower as the prior M5 competition. So now you can get people for a PHEV and say, you know what, you want that extra power?
No, I don't want that extra.
That's what you get. Or if you want the gas variant, this is what you get. Kind of like an in competition or not. But unfortunately, they only did PHEV, which is basically, it's the same thing with the XM. Awesome vehicle, but then when you're considering pricing of it and what you can get,
You're getting a great deal.
I mean, I know you like the XM, but you could get an X5M competition. It's going to be faster. You'll save $20,000 to $30,000,
Yes, I like the XM.
and it's just a better drive.
XM is better. XM is
You know.
better.
JS, Jim from New York. Why does Honda get stolen more? So, Jim, to answer your question on that one, Honda's the most stolen vehicle is actually Kia and
I thought it
Hyundai.
was Land Rover.
No, that's in England. Honda, they get stolen because usually when you're getting these type of vehicles, they don't put a lot of emphasis on their security technology. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money as it is to update the technology, which it's sad because they'll update the technology with 5-10 years, but by the time they update that and their security, they're already 5-10 years behind.
Sounds like infinity.
So ultimately what happens is you're getting a car that's updated, but it's still not to the point of what it should be. And people are so advanced with technology nowadays, you can crack codes on your computer and literally just steal somebody's key fob if it's too close to the front door and steal their vehicle.
I mean, you can steal like a Challenger or Charger. They're really easy.
Yeah.
You could open the, what is it, the moonroof, right? You
Well,
go through the moonroof.
what my Dodge, our Dodge team does, it's actually quite funny, is they move all of their Hellcat keys into an office instead of having it in the lockbox because they had it in the lockbox and they literally had like 10 of them stolen. What they also do is they put bricks in front of the car or they park a car in front of it and behind it. So ultimately, it's not just Honda, but because Honda and Toyota and Kia and Hyundai sell so many of them, that's why they're a lot more reported that they're stolen because they sell a ton of vehicles a year opposed to like a Dodge Challenger or a Hellcat. Hellcats, they don't sell that many, but the ones that they sell can get robbed just as easy.
Yeah, they are. They're boats.
Yeah. Cool vehicles, but
No,
for straight line.
outdated.
Another thing I wanted to bring to the attention is we do now offer memberships. So we have exclusive videos. We also show exclusive content for the community tab. This week we talked about a Tesla, the one that we saw as a prototype that's in California.
Taxi.
Yeah, the taxi. We had some pictures. Only members can see these things. We also have a members chat, things of that nature. So check it out. And for this live stream, we're doing a five super chat, I think is what it has listed, where if we get that, we're going to go to a dealership and do a live stream there. We may even do a review right in front of you guys. So it'd be a little bit more, I think it'd be pretty cool, right? Do a review so that way you guys see that like how it is behind the scenes. We also do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for the memberships. So something to look into. Yeah.
Am I a membership?
No, you're not.
I'm not a member.
He's not a member.
Oof, that
Yeah.
sucks.
I know. It's
Oh man. I really,
unfortunately you got to pay to play, right?
Oh man, that really sucks. I really wanted to see you driving.
Well, one of the videos we put up was apparently there was like 10, 15 cars in the middle of the road and it was just crazy. But again, check it out. You won't be able to see that only through the membership though. You want to read the question so that way it makes it easier?
Should I get a 2022 X3 M40i or a 2023 if I'm looking to keep it for 3 to 4 years at least?
Or 2023. You're keeping it 3 to 4 years. X3. So both two of those years, you should. I would go 23. That way you have a little bit more of the warranty behind you, and you're gonna have a little bit less miles. So that way you can kind of enjoy it longer term. If you can get a 22 without too many miles and it's comparable, meaning feature wise, and you're getting a great deal, I wouldn't say no. But the only thing is with the M40, you do want to drive it. It's a little bit more of a performance vehicle. So sometimes getting them with less miles may not be as good considering it's 3 years old now. So you'd only have 1 year left on warranty. That's why I would probably say go to a 23 variant. I know a lot of people are not so excited about the refresh 25. We have a few reviews out, but 23 I think would be more better for you. So that way you have at least 2 years of warranty. And in some cases, you might have almost 3 years warranty. So you could actually really enjoy almost a new vehicle and you don't have to worry about that refresh because the interior, you were in the X3. What did you think about that
I
X3?
thought it was really beautiful. The interior was highly detailed. My favorite part was how crap the interior quality was.
You notice he says
Yeah.
crap because he's being very sarcastic. They did a lot of plastic in the new one. It looked like it was a bottle in the front.
I think it looked really
I
beautiful.
don't know what they were thinking with that LED lighting with the bottle look by the wireless charging pad.
It looks really good. I think it's outstanding.
Yeah.
BMW knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah, and the M40i is awesome too because you have a lot of power on it. So I think you will really enjoy that one.
Yeah, you would. I think you would. I think I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Sadly,
Yeah.
I can't afford the X3 M40i.
This week we are going to be going to Honda.
Ooh,
hopefully,
Honda.
Well, hopefully all the recalls are done
Oh my
because the
God.
past few times we went, they've been having some issues with their hybrid, which they catch on fire.
That's awful.
Yeah,
I
it
know.
kind of sucks.
That's why I buy Teslas instead, you know.
You're a Tesla fan now?
Yeah, I'm a Tesla.
There you go.
You know the S-Plaid, Cybertruck.
Hopefully we're going to Audi. We haven't got confirmation yet. We're planning to go back to Toyota and Hyundai. We might be going to Hyundai tomorrow. You know, get an Elantra in. awesome vehicle.
Crap vehicle. You know, the
That's
TRD
awesome.
Camry is better.
Yeah, they don't make it no more though. Now it's only hybrid. If you're okay with hybrid only.
Yeah, I'm fine with hybrid only.
Yeah.
Extra power, get that kick.
Yeah.
You're not really a hybrid guy, are you? Like
Not so much. I just like things that
Oh,
last a
man.
little bit because when
man.
you start going batteries, it's kind of like a watch, right? If you get a watch with a battery, you have to replace it every so many years. Now,
Yeah, if you treat
obviously,
it like crap.
no. I mean, well, if you for a hybrid vehicle, it's a little different. It'll last a little bit longer, hopefully. But I have reviewed some that have had issues, and I've also went to teams where we couldn't review it because the battery was completely dead, and then it was on
'cause
back order.
not because it
No,
had
it
an
was
issue.
hybrid batteries don't die. If they die, the car is dead.
0% battery. Like if you charge it, you can charge it back.
You can't charge a hybrid. That's a PHEV, plug-in hybrid. These are hybrids.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why not a huge fan. I mean, when you see these things, we did a X5 50E, and I mashed on the gas, and the dang check engine light went on, and we had to go back to the team, and it was just a headache. And I actually really like the X5 50E because it has a lot of power. It's not too expensive in the sense of what you're getting because BMW has increased the price, but damn check engine light, and it started shaking. So we had to go back to the team. They did something. It was fine. We went back out, finished the review. But that's why I'm not a huge hybrid fan.
Normal BMW activity. So you can't really compare something when BMW is known for their unreliability.
I mean, certain vehicles maybe, but when you start getting into certain pricing, it starts getting a little better.
And that's why I would buy a Tesla. Yeah. Lock my kids in the Cybertruck.
No.
Blow my truck into the Trump Tower.
Well, I was also considering an X5 M50. How is the reliability on that? So the X5 M50, my brother actually owns a 23 model, and he has had no problems with his.
Yeah.
It's been pretty solid.
I want an X5 M50.
It's been pretty solid.
They're pretty good.
The engine is pretty good. The one thing that he had, and I actually borrowed it for like 3-4 days. He drove it like a baby. So when you're driving these twin turbo V8s, it's basically a detuned engine because it's the same exact engine. Obviously, they changed things underneath the hood. We're not going to go into that right now. But what I am saying is you can't drive it at 1,502 RPMs all the time. So when I drove his car, I felt that it was shaking. He took it to the dealership after I, drove it a few times, and they said that he put bad gas in it. And I said, nope. So what they did is they cleaned his injectors out because he was getting you're basically killing the engine when you drive it like a baby. So if you get any of these high performance V8s, you do need to hit the throttle or the gas pedal. You can't drive it like a baby because you build up too much carbon, and ultimately it's going to pull up a check engine light. The car might even shake. Other than that, solid vehicle. Transmission's awesome. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. And that has a lot more power than the X3, a little bit bigger. Would you buy a 16-year-old $52,000 car?
No, he probably would not. No,
we did look at some classics.
He didn't look at.
I did look at some classics.
He was not going to buy a $52,000 car.
Well, it wasn't 52,000. It was a little bit more than 52.
No, he wouldn't get a 16-year-old $52,000 car.
No. Oh, would I buy? Oh, I thought.
No,
I misread it. I thought it said, "Would you buy a 16-year-old car for $52,000?"
Oh wait, 16-year-old? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So would I buy him a $52,000 car?
No, he would not.
I told him to take my vehicle. He doesn't want it.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And that way I could buy myself a new vehicle.
No, I don't.
It's time for me to get something new. I have a 2016 model.
Yeah. Sorry, you're gonna have to keep it for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what
I'll upgrade
from New York, do you think hybrid is a better vehicle than an EV? Yes, I do think, Jim, that a hybrid is better than an EV.
I do not.
I do. The EVs, the reason why, especially now with this new administration, you're going to start seeing in the next coming, not months, but probably years, where they're going to start making a lot more of the hybrid, maybe PHEV. Obviously, EVs for like Tesla and things like that, they'll still make the same amount because they always do.
Problems with that hybrid than an EV, though. You're gonna have to replace more parts.
Not really. If you do like a hybrid Toyota, in some cases, because I know with their new engines, they've been having a lot of issues. But like the new Camry, for instance, it's a solid vehicle. I mean, they'll last a long time.
The
Our
new
friend Osman
Toyotas-
bought one.
The new Toyotas,
Yeah.
nah, they're crap.
You're talking about the Tundra.
Yeah,
That's a completely different vehicle.
it's
Yeah.
a Toyota. You said
Yeah.
the new Toyotas.
Sean, how are you? Good evening. Good evening to you as well. On the Volkswagen Buzz, I feel Volkswagen should have worked out more. Yes, I 100% agree with you. They had a lot of kinks in the technology. That's why I left it in the video. I don't ever take things out of the video, but I deliberately put every piece that I could in the video, because sometimes when you put so much, it starts getting a little overwhelming. But I really wanted to emphasize, like, in North America, we've been waiting for a new bus. In Volkswagen with the ID Buzz, I feel like they just kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I was really excited. They had 3 on the lot. They gave me that blue one with the candy white, whatever. They have some really cool names for the colors.
70 grand.
And I was so excited because I said, you know what? I didn't want an all black one, because why would you get one color when you're going for a Buzz? You want it to be like graffiti looking.
I don't think I would pay for it because 70 grand is crazy.
Well, again, put the price aside.
I'm
We're
not
just going to
putting the
talk
price
about the
aside.
vehicle.
The price is
The
not even good.
vehicle itself is awesome, but they're just not up to date with technology. Volkswagen is a little bit behind. The pricing was a little high. I prefer full EV over hybrid unless you're making several road trips. Yes. Well, the reason why for me hybrid is I typically drive 50 to 100 miles per team that I go to, and then I'm driving that back home. So if I had a full EV, say I'm doing 200 miles, well, I would have to sit for probably 30 minutes to charge it. And, I sometimes get home late as it
It
is.
looks awful. That
So
van
that's
looks
why
awful.
I would go for
It
hybrid.
looks like a cube. Looks like someone on
The young
Minecraft
man
designed
has
it.
really blossoms a lot more and has good insight. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you,
I
Jeffrey.
know. I have
You
good
got to tell them
insight.
thank you.
Thank you very
If
much,
they move
Jeffrey.
the Buzz to North America, pricing might be less. It would be nice if it was less. I mean, $70,000 is a
$70,000
lot of
is
money,
Buy an
and
Audi.
I mean, it's literally Audi money. And I'm sure everybody saw the review on it. We posted it yesterday. It just had a lot of glitch.
Did you have bloopers with it?
That one, no. Instead of doing it for the members only, I literally put it for everybody to see, because it just was.
Even the other thing
Yeah.
where you got
What?
stuck.
Oh yeah, everything I put over there, because I was
wow.
just like,
Wow.
yeah. Well, that was the Jetta. So we also reviewed a Jetta, which is going to be coming to the channel, and the car, I think it's on TikTok or Instagram. We had to give the keys back. Every single thing popped up on the odometer. Check engine, check this, check this, check this, check
Volkswagen?
that. Yeah. I was like, my God, man, you guys gave me 2 cars that's messed up. I was really disappointed. When I drove home, I couldn't even drink coffee and enjoy the ride. I was like, man, I'm so tired of Volkswagen. What the heck are they doing?
Volkswagen's reliability.
If you mean for modern, this now it is. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, it's a cool vehicle. It's just something that if you're looking for a minivan, I feel like they went
terrible.
the wrong way. You don't have the space in the cargo. You have a ton of space between each row, which is great. Where is the Jetta made these days?
Europe.
Jetta? Well,
Let me get a Jetta.
I mean, ultimately, with the Jetta, when you're getting any of these vehicles, they assemble them in one area, so they're sending parts left and right. So it's not just about where it is made. It's also when you're starting to, for the assembly.
Oh,
what is it?
Flying Spur. 2017 Flying Spur.
What about it?
Oh my! Would you consider used? I mean, not really. They depreciate really bad. Bentley's known to depreciate after like 5 to 10 years.
Well, going back to the Jetta, basically China, Mexico, to give you the gist of it. Where are we at? Oh, the Flying Spur.
Flying Spur, but it is fast. It's like top. I think it's like the third or second
expensive.
fastest car in the world.
Yeah.
That's a sedan, not sedan. Sedan. It's insane though. I would buy a Flying Spur.
You would?
Yeah, I don't have the money though. You could buy me one though.
Yeah,
For 52
flying
grand.
spur must be yeah. Well, it's funny because some vehicles, when you're looking at insurance, they can be less expensive because they may not have so many accidents and they typically don't drive them as much. But when you start going to expensive vehicles like this, some insurance companies will ask you what day are you going to drive the vehicle? Because years ago, we check on these things so that way we're giving the right information. We were working with a team and we actually called for a Ferrari on insurance. And the first question they said is, what days and how many days a month are you going to drive the vehicle? So they can do the same thing with Rolls Royce, Bentley. They sometimes will ask it, unless it's a vehicle that's kind of more mainstream instead of like supercar status. But then in the pricing, they could ask these questions. So just be prepared. And like, depending on how many days, and they'll even say, is it a weekend? Is it a weekday? It's kind of crazy what they do. Like we asked last week for the Lamborghini, for instance, with
It's
service,
pretty affordable.
$4,200 for an oil change for
I
a
can
Lamborghini.
afford it if I pay my yearly
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things are astronomical. I don't quite understand, especially like with that particular vehicle. That engine is more or
It's
less
very
in like
reliable.
in every single Audi,
No, it is not.
more or
It's
less.
an exclusive car.
And it's just weird that you would pay $4,200 to service something that Audi is going to charge like
Well, you're buying a
$1,000.
Lamborghini. If you can't afford the maintenance, then why are you paying for the car? That's how
Actually,
I see it.
so we were at Audi, we got rained out, and they had a Bentley
Oh
Bentayga,
my.
and the name of their performance speakers, that's like $1,500 upgrade, is Nan something like that. Starts with an N. We went to the cargo, opened it up. The subwoofer has the Audi logo, and it said it was literally Audi speakers. They just throw a name over it, and you get those same speakers. It was B&O's. It was a B&O system. It actually says B&O on the subwoofer, but on the grills of the door panel, it has their performance that starts with an N. I forget the name. Maybe somebody can Google it. I don't have any way to Google it on this. But anyways, it's like a $7,500 upgrade, but it's free. It's like an entry speaker kind of for Audi. And we were just kind of like, even the cover that was covering it had the Audi
You're buying
O-rings.
a Bentley. What
It
do you
had the
expect?
Audi
Doesn't
O-rings
matter.
on
You're
it.
buying a
Like,
Bentley.
it's just crazy.
Most supercars are built from their cheap counterparts anyway, so I wouldn't really complain when I already know about this stuff.
Well, ultimately,
Like,
both
Maserati, great example. Chrysler.
Actually, I don't know if it would be a great example because
It is a great
Chrysler,
example.
if you look at
Mm,
look at Dodge, $100,000+ cars. So there you go.
exactly. But that's an example of a cheap counterpart. You're buying an expensive car, and when you get an expensive car, you know
It's
that
a
they
little
always have a cheap
different
counterpart.
in some categories. The name of, yes, thank you, Sean. So that speaker, if you go into the cargo, he actually made a little video. I should have took a picture so I could have showed you guys that it literally has B&O's sound system in the trunk when you lift up the cargo, and the Audi O-rings are like listed everywhere. You just see the emblems. So it was pretty insane. There was some other Audi and Volkswagen parts that he was showing me. The outside of the Bentayga, those little chrome pieces by the front door, those are out of the Atlas Cross Sport. And now they're literally the same exact thing because like they don't do R line anymore for Volkswagen. They took the R line off. That's because it's literally the same chrome piece.
I'd buy it. I would buy an Arteon.
Yeah.
You
Well,
like the Arteon?
nice vehicles, but
Reliable.
I don't know about all that.
This is here.
But going back to the Volkswagen, so the Jetta, we did a SE, so we couldn't do the review on that one. We have another GLI coming to the channel. That one we actually were able to. So two out of the 5 vehicles we reviewed had problems, which I was a little disappointed. And a lot of that is their technology, unfortunately. They just need to get it together. So JS is why foreign vehicles more reliable than American made. If American can build great space rockets, why not a simple car? Well, so I mean, we had a Lincoln. It was a pretty reliable vehicle.
I
Had
don't
it for
remember.
like 10 years. Yeah, he was a baby,
I
I
was like
guess.
4 years old.
Yeah, he's acting like I'm 90 or something.
Wow, you're aging.
But
I'm joking.
I will say with American vehicles, I think a lot of the problem that comes into it is the engineering for German vehicles. They actually do a little bit better in their engineering. Like when I work with my Audi team, for instance, like these people were certified for 10, 20 years. Like they're just, it's almost like a doctor degree. You don't really have that when you go to Ford or GMC. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have your master technicians, but then when you look at the transition of when they change things, they typically change engines every 3 to 5 years. So you're not really getting engineering. You're just trying to make something better or more efficient. Whereas when you go to the Germans, they're keeping the same engine for a long time and just re-engineering it to get more performance, and then they detune it. So say for instance, you get like a BMW, right? Those engines have been around forever. So whenever they're retuning them for the next year model, it just shows you right there. They already knew that they can max out at this horsepower, but instead of selling it at that level, they detune it similar to like a RSQ8 to a SQ8, right? It's the same engine, but it's detuned, or the same engine more or less as a Lamborghini Urus, but detuned. So when you're using that engine more or less for 3, 4, 5 different models, 10 different models, now you can start seeing the reliability. Whereas when you go into like American vehicles, they change things, but I don't feel like the engineering is as sound as theirs because you don't really see a master technician. You only have to do so many hours. And I'm not saying anything bad about master technicians. They do a lot of work too. But when it comes to like engineering for overseas, they literally go to a school to like just specifically for like an R8, for instance. The R8, they have people that only work on R8s. Like that's all they do. Now, it's similar to Ford and GMC, but then they're throwing the same transmissions on the vehicles.
I'm one of those people that specifically work on R8s.
Yeah,
I've done it for like 20 years now.
there you go. So, like for instance, the 10-speed transmission for Ford, they have known problems with it, and instead of them trying to fix it, they'll just do some like light upgrades, and then they're still putting them in pretty much all their Fords. If you know you have a problem with it, it would be better that you just scrap it or try to fix it instead of keep carrying on with it. The What, are you tired?
No.
Are you bored? So, like the ZF automatic transmission, it's a German transmission. It's been around for a very long time, over 20, 30 years. And we know its reliability that goes 2 to 4 or 500,000 miles. And in most cases, you don't even have to service it. But with an American vehicle, you have to service it. I feel like they're just making vehicles like TVs.
No. Hold on now.
Where you have to replace them more
German
rapidly.
V8s are a lot more unreliable than American V8s. German cars are also known to be more unreliable down the road compared to American cars as well.
I mean, it depends on service.
Turbos blow, transmission failure.
No, transmissions don't usually fail. If
Majority is Japanese.
Usually the best built typically are Japanese, but
Nah, Japanese transmissions can be.
no, not their transmissions. I'm saying their engines.
CVTs?
Their engines. Their engines.
Oh, wait, CVT.
The
Yeah,
engines
terrible.
are good, but you're not going to get a lot of performance. Transmissions, Germans make the best because the ZF transmission, it's
Their
literally
engines are
bulletproof.
questionable.
Even if you get a
CVT?
Land Rover, for instance, you get the ZF transmission, it never goes bad. The engine will probably have some leaks. You'll have suspension problems, but the transmission lasts forever.
Yep.
I kind of wish that Ford and GM kind of did that.
Ford's pretty reliable.
No, the 10-speed has a lot of issues here and there.
More reliable than a M5.
What, this is transmission? No, the transmission
Ford's
is
pretty
better.
reliable. They hold pretty well down the road. You've seen those people in their Ford what are they? Ford Rangers, 1990 Ford Rangers.
Well, actually, to bring to news, I forgot Ford is going to start pushing some of their inexpensive lines. So I'm happy to see that. You're going to start seeing Mavericks. Hopefully, they'll stick to the under $30,000 price, but usually
hopefully they discontinue the Maverick because
I like the
it's
Maverick.
awful and looks like a cube.
Will it last? So the XM, they are canceling it. It's only going to be another year or so. It's not gonna. Unfortunately, they're not going to be going out. I think next year is the last year, but don't quote me on that because I haven't been to BMW for a week.
I heard they were going to discontinue.
Yeah, it's being
It's
discontinued.
awful. The
Yeah.
best BMW SUV being discontinued.
I mean, the XM is kind of like the iX.
I may shed a tear.
I mean, the i8, sorry, iX. The i8, I think, was an awesome vehicle, but it came out way too early for its time.
It was all right. I feel like it was really underpowered for the amount of aero that it had. If
Yeah.
they put a better engine in it, it would be a better car.
Yeah.
It got
mean-
that supercar look to it.
Well, I feel like BMW comes out with these special cars, and when they do it, they give it to us for a few years, and they either do it correctly or incorrectly. In which the i8, they did some things correct. They could have gave more performance because the performance was lacking.
It was terrible.
But then with the MPGs was really what it was about. As for the XM, it's a really cool vehicle. But then when you look at the pricing, 160 to almost 200,000 if you get a
It's a great
label
deal.
red,
Wow.
it's pretty expensive.
It's pretty good stuff.
The interior is awesome because it's off the same platform as the X7.
Yeah.
But
That's why the X5M is nothing compared to the XM.
I mean, the X5M competition is just a great vehicle. I actually have a comparison between that and the XM coming in the next, I think next week, maybe it's going to be coming on the channel. So make sure you tune into that one. I thought it was a pretty exciting video. I was really happy to show how the X5M competition versus the XM. Well, I'll have to let you guys watch. I don't want to spoil it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the details of it.
Is it
Very
a membership
awesome.
video?
No, it's a regular video.
Okay.
Video. You don't
So
have to be a
check it
member for
out.
that. Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
XM.
Yeah. And going back to Ford news, they're also going to be bringing a few other inexpensive variants. So I am happy that they're looking underneath the $30,000 pricing, similar to Chevy, because Chevy now really boasts that under 30 grand for like the tracks and things of that nature. Great vehicle, but they do have some issues. They could have some issues, I should say, because of the belt drive system, because it's a rubber belt.
Would you buy the Urus that Buick made?
That's the Envision.
Yeah.
So the Envision, I think it's an awesome vehicle. Pricing, I mean, you're at around 30 grand or under, depending on trim. It's hard to get vehicles with what Chevy and Buick is giving. And I know people in comments, especially in the videos, they're like, well, the engines are crap, the 3-cylinder turbo with that belt. I get it. Don't get me wrong. But in the same perspective, even if you were to service it and say you had to redo or put a new engine, it would still be less money if you had to replace the engine every 50 to 75,000 miles than it would be to buy a $40,000, $50,000 car that's comparable with specs. That's why I think it's such an awesome deal. I do feel that GM, Chevy ultimately shouldn't be doing these smaller engines. 4-cylinder turbos I'm okay with the smaller vehicles, but usually I would prefer a 6-cylinder at least. I heard that sales are down for, yes, they are.
No.
What?
The Ford Mustang, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
So Sean brought up a great point.
Oh.
The sales are down for the Ford Mustang.
The best V8, American V8, other than the C8 Corvette. Other than the C8 Corvette.
P400 brand. Yeah, so they're down with sales. That's why they are redoing some of the stuff. The advertisement hasn't went out yet because they had some recalls. So that's why they haven't been promoting their under $30,000 vehicles, which hopefully the Mustang, they'll start integrating a better deal too for the EcoBoost engine. You know, Anthony, P400 Range Rover or
X5,
BMW X5
X5
M60.
M60.
Other than price differences, what do you think? Well,
X5 M60.
the P400 Range Rover is a very nice vehicle. Price aside, you're not going to go wrong with
X5 M50. You're getting performance.
M60. I know. That's a really tough one
The
because
P400 is luxury, but you can.
It is, but you have some engine performance.
Nah, you could
So
get
that's
some
why.
luxury in the X5 M60 though. So, and it's cheaper.
We're not
price
talking
aside,
about price.
price
No
aside,
pricing.
price
We're not
aside,
talking about
price
price. That's
aside.
why it's such a hard choice now because prices are aside. I mean, the Range
I'll
Rover
get
is
an
awesome.
X5.
I think you might have better service
with
with-
BMW.
Nope, I think the Range Rover you'll have
Really?
better
Range
service.
Rover?
Yeah,
Are you
because you're not
serious?
getting a full M. So that's the only disadvantage. Sometimes when you don't get a full M, even though it's detuned M engine, you're not getting the full guts underneath the hood. So you'll still get a lot of street credit, and people they'll say, "Wow, that's awesome," because that's what they do with our family members that own a M50i. But it's still not to the same level. So what ultimately I'm getting at is service wise, you're going to be driving like a X1. So if you're okay with doing that, I mean,
I think I'm okay with doing that.
performance, though, I would definitely go with the BMW. The drive, though, is going to be more comfortable with the Range Rover. That's the only reason why it's a little tough. The infotainment screen for the Range Rover isn't the greatest. BMW is a little bit more intuitive. Theirs is a little bit more glitchy, and they still haven't fixed it, which irritates the heck out of me. That Pivi Pro, they just need to. I'm not saying scrap it, but they got to do something. I mean, it's just slow, especially on the gauge cluster. You push a button, and then you push the button again. The 8 Series is dying in the middle.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coupe,
Yes.
M8 coupe is
The
gone.
M8 Coupe is gone.
The B8.
Yeah, the B8 they're getting rid of. So if you have a chance to get them, the B8 is awesome.
I think you should get one.
And the paddle shifts on those are buttons, so it looks really cool because it's like F1 the way that's why they designed it like that
And
instead
then
of
you can have both.
shifters.
You can have both.
Yeah,
The Maserati and the
I just don't
Alpine.
need a Grand Coupe because they only make it as a Grand Coupe.
I thought you liked the Grand Coupe over the coupe.
No, I like convertible, and they don't make an Alpina convertible.
So would you get an
That's
M8
their
coupe?
fault.
Did you get an M8 coupe?
Okay, one other question: Range Rover 400 or M competition?
X5M.
X5M competition all day long.
X5M.
X5M competition.
X5M.
The only thing though is if you are considering those two or those three variants, I would recommend driving the X5M competition first because it is a lot more firm. The M60 is going to be a little bit lighter. You can get the air suspension, so it'd be a little bit more smooth, but they may not have it on the lot because they typically don't carry it on the lot, which you would have to order it, and that's going to be like $2,300, give or take. So if you're concerned about the ride, the smoothness of the ride, Range Rover all day long. As for performance, you'll get over that smoothness of the ride because it's such a fun vehicle, X5M competition. But at the beginning, you may not like it. So that's why I would recommend do the BMW first. So that way you're not disqualifying that performance.
I would go for the BMW first. Don't even look at the Range
And
Rover.
then go to the Range Rover and test drive it. So that way you can see what I mean by the suspension, but at least you'll have that performance and the full picture before going into the Range Rover. Because the P400, it is powerful.
I don't know if I would go to the Range Rover, because it's X5M comp.
And the X5M comp, I mean, it's hands down, that's like the best. Forget about pricing. It's one of the better vehicles in the class, especially when you're considering what it is.
So
Unless
what
you're
would you
thinking like an
compete
RS Q8, that would be an awesome vehicle to compare it against.
The RS Q8 is the best SUV.
Yeah, he really likes the RS Q8.
It's the RS7, but a SUV version. It's the SUV killer, Dad.
It's an awesome vehicle. I mean, 0.2-ish to 0.3 second
you could eat a
difference, 0 to
Urus with
60
it.
than a Urus.
You could eat a Urus.
No,
with
Urus
it.
is
If
a
you
little
tune it,
slow.
if you tune it,
Yeah.
you could eat a Urus with it because it's detuned.
And this year they increased the power for 2025, which my team had like 3 of them. So I was really disappointed that we were rained out because we had that in an RS6 Avant, RS7, the R3, the S3. They don't have an RS3 as of now. They may come back out with it for 26. I talked to my team in North America, and both of them have not confirmed anything for 2025. But the S3 has increased in horsepower and torque, so it's actually better than the BMW variant because it outperforms it. Finally,
Because it's Audi, it's better.
Also another thing I wanted to touch bases with. I know Sean always asks about the A5 and S5 and RS5. So I got confirmation it's going to probably be 2026 that they're going to give us in North America the interior changes and the styling changes, plus the upgrade in the horsepower and torque.
Wait, it's more.
It's a refresh.
Wait, there's more power in Europe than there is here?
Yeah. So North America or the United States, we're usually behind when it comes to vehicles. So we typically get it 6 months to a year later. You're welcome, Sean. But I wanted to confirm that. And we also looked at the Q6. We supposedly had it, but they didn't have it. There's a few variants that we may not even get. So my team actually just came back from Europe a few weeks back, and they did some testing with like the e-tron GT and different things. So I got to see, because it rained out, I just watched the videos with them at the desk, and I got to see the performance of things. It was really awesome. Fantastic. Spot on advice. Y'all are awesome. Anytime, John. So one of the things that was really intriguing with Audi, with their new technology, is the suspension. So they had a road that was literally like this. I'm trying to get it. It was like this the whole time. And they showed the prior model, like the 24 and 25, it was going like this. You could see the whole vehicle. The new ones that we're hopefully getting for 26 was going straight, didn't move at all. So the suspension upgrades that they are doing, the technology, Audi is definitely going to kill it for 2026. It just sucks because a lot of people thought that it was for 2025. I thought so too, and I've actually reviewed multiple 25s, hoping and expecting to see it. So finally I said, you know what? I have like 4 or 5 different Audi teams. I talk to them weekly and bi-weekly. I said, you know what? What the heck is going on? You guys keep saying it's coming out, coming out. I have no confirmation of nobody. And because they just came back from Germany, we finally got that confirmation. So I was really happy to see that we're finally going to get it, but it's going to probably be in like 4 or 5 months. So it kind of sucks for us.
Tragic.
Yeah. But the interior is awesome. Technology, though, Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, and BMW are going really overboard with their heads-up display. That's going to be coming out in the next year or so. That could be pushed back, where it literally covers up the whole windshield, the lower bit. So think of a windshield like this. This part here is going to be all a heads-up display. Would the new suspension be an air suspension variant? I forget the name that they said of the suspension. He didn't really. I'm trying to confirm to see for this week if I could go back to them. But because we had the rain out and it's basically the weekend, they don't usually answer the phone on the weekends because that's their days off. We're going to see. That way I can bring that hopefully back, and I'll be able to answer the question more accordingly. But from what they were saying, it's just new technology that I'm assuming it's got to be some kind of air suspension, because even with adaptive suspension, it's not going to be the same as the air suspension in that sense, but it's per wheel. So it's similar to like the Range Rover technology, but it's above that, because like with the Range Rover, you'll still have a little body roll like this. This was literally straight, which was crazy because they were going like more than 40, 50 miles per hour. It wasn't like a test where you're just going over a speed bump. They were going continuous and it just stayed planted. I know it's going to definitely be on like the A8s, probably on higher end A5s, A6, A7s. The A6 also has some refresh. So hopefully we'll have that for 2026. Oh, we already answered that question. I saw something and then it popped out. But I thought just it was crazy. I mean, when you're seeing that, and also the performance, we got to see. Unfortunately, I didn't get to drive them because I wasn't in Europe. I was here in the United States. But next event, hopefully we
Are
can
we going
do
to see
something.
you in Europe?
Yeah.
Hawkeye Rides confirmed to Europe?
Well, I know he's wanting me to, and some of my family's starting to pressure me a little bit. So yes, we do need to start doing that. I was just trying to get everything a little bit more smooth line for the membership, because we had some hiccups for the first few weeks, and now I think everything's back to normal with that.
You're going to do drag races in your membership?
Well, if we start going to Europe more often, they do have a lot of tracks there. Over here, we don't really have a lot of like performance tracks. With my
One
Chevy
by
team,
BMW.
huh?
The one by BMW.
Which one? Oh, the one I take it to.
Yeah.
It's not really a track.
Yeah,
though.
but you could do a drag race.
Yeah, I guess we could do some. We did have some team members that wanted to do some drag racing and some off-roading things, but unfortunately we couldn't get that confirmed because where they work for the brand, they didn't want to be part of the video. And I said, well, I could just cover your face. And they're like, yeah, but we're just having a legality issue with that. So hopefully that will be a little bit more easier, so we can start bringing different comparison and some drag racing and things of that nature. I'd like to do some of the off-roading stuff. BMW did ask about doing some X7s off-road to show some of the performance, but ultimately, like I said, they were like, we don't really have an area to do it, ultimately. My Chevy team wanted me to do some Corvettes, but then I don't know. It's been an interesting transition. Some of the teams have also went to different companies. So that's also been a little bit of the hiccups with some of the transitions that we've been trying to implement. So these are things that we are trying to bring to the channel. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
we're going to conclude the live stream for this week. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Like we said, check out the membership. We do exclusive videos there. We're going to be bringing a lot more content to the channel. We have a lot of fun vehicles too, comparison vehicles. Like I said, the XM versus the X5M competition. We also just did a Lexus video where we're comparing it against Toyota, an IS300. Oh, and also one last thing on auto news. Lexus is discontinuing the RC and the RCF.
No.
So if you guys are thinking about purchasing one, you may want to do it sooner than later because they're going to be gone.
Best Lexus.
Yeah.
Actually, no, LC500.
Well, LC500, yeah, they're nice. They're a little dated in the interior.
No, they're
but check out the channel and let us know any vehicles you like to see for reviews. We are trying to bring the S3. Like I said, got rained out. We had that on the list. So I am taking all the recommendations that you guys have. The SQ8 versus the X5M60. I actually was going to do a comparison. It's comparison.
I know.
Yeah. I was going to do one the other day. Remember I was telling you about that. But it wasn't a newer model. So if you guys are all right with doing some pre-owned ones, because some of them haven't had any refresh, it really wouldn't matter for like the SQ8. We can do that as well. So thanks for bringing that up, Bob. With the X5M60i, I think we could probably.
I feel the SQ8 would be faster.
Yeah.
Better performance.
But it would definitely be a great review. Thank you again for joining, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the next live stream. Have a great weekend.